We are live now. Okay, let's get started. Welcome everyone. Welcome to Hindi University. Really excited to be with you this Sunday. As you know, we meet every Sunday, 8 a.m. US Pacific time, and we learn about Hindi language. For those of you who are new to Hindi University, which I see a lot of new folks here, so really excited to have you and welcome you to the Hindi University community. If this is your first class, you can learn more about us by going to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Hindi University. If you're interested in joining the live session, like every Sunday, you can get more details on this page, which we have tiny.cc/Hindi University. You can find all the details about the previous classes as well as the practice sessions that we have on a regular basis here. As you know, we are also working on the book called Teach Yourself Hindi. Teach Yourself. So you can get the copy of the book also, the soft copy, from this link. Okay, and so far we've been going systematically in this book, and we have covered, about like overall we have covered like 12 chapters in this book. So let me just make a. So far we have covered 12 chapters, and today we'll be starting with chapter number 13 in this book. And so in case if you have missed the previous chapters, don't worry about it. We try to break down the class in such a way that even if you're joining now, it should be very easy for you to follow. Okay, and as always, the discussion is always encouraged, so feel free to ask any questions you may have. So today, in the chapter number 13 that we have, it really talks about the new concept. So good thing is this is initially that the topic is pretty straightforward and very easy. So for the new folks, it'll be very easier to catch up, and for the previous folks, it'll be very a good topic to brush up the previous concepts and then use them on your regular conversation. So this topic is about relative constructs. Okay, in this topic we'll be learning about relative constructs. So let's start with the definition first. These are nothing but sentences, the type of sentences where two sentences are paired with each other. Okay, this is where the relative constructs are used. Okay, so imagine you have a sentence 1 and you have a sentence 2, and they are related with each other. How do you join them together? And that's where you will use the relative constructs. Okay, examples are, and a lot of languages, they use relative construct. Examples are when you have when and then clause. Okay, when and then. When it rains, then I take an umbrella. Okay, when I get sick, then I take medications or medicine. So these are time related, relative constructs, but there are relative constructs which are not time related. Example would be the person who you saw walking on the street is my uncle. There you see who. It's a relative construct. Okay, the city where you're visiting, it's where I was born and raised. So there, where is a relative construct. Okay, similarly, the restaurants in which you are having your dinner is my favorite restaurant. Okay, the which is your relative construct. Now it's interesting because like these are interrogatives in Hindi. Okay, but at the same time they can be used in English also. They are interrogatives, right? But in Hindi, they can also be used as your relative constructs. WH words can be used as your relative constructs. So both interrogatives as well as relative constructs. So in this class today, we'll be focusing on the first use case, when and then. Okay, just to recap, there are, by and large, there are two categories of relative constructs. The one which is related to time, when you talk about when and then. The second one where they are usually there are interrogatives but used in the sense of related with the previous sentence. Okay, so we'll cover them later on. So far so good. So let's get started with the examples of the first one, and then we'll dig deeper into it. So most of you probably already know that in Hindi, when you use when and then, first thing first, how do you say them in Hindi? Who would like to answer that? Sophia ji, you want to unmute yourself and tell us what is when and then in Hindi?
So when can either be kab or jab.
Yeah.
Kab, I think it's used when asking a question,
Okay.
like when are we meeting? And then jab is just when you're saying when in general in any sentence. And then is fir, just fir, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So this is good. What you're saying is like when is used in independent, like independently, then it's called kab, right? Kab is when are we meeting? हम कब मिल रहे हैं? Okay. When is the holiday? छुट्टियां कब है? Right? That's, you're absolutely right. But and similarly, then you can, if you're using it independently, you call it फिर. Okay. फिर हम क्या करेंगे? Then what we will do? Okay. फिर हम क्या खाएंगे? Then what will we eat? But if they're used in a pair, what will you use them? Okay, that's a question. So when they're used in the pair together, you use jub and tub. Read it as tub, not tab, tub. Okay, so it's jub and tub. It can also be, you can also see toe. Toe is also used by native speakers when they are using two sentences together. Okay, you can also see the use case where when you are using relative constructs, this is completely eliminated. It is implied that when you are saying a longer sentence, you're just saying jug and then sentence one, and then you completely omit tub and then you say sentence two. It is quite possible and it is quite common as well. Okay, so your formula will look like this. You have jug, then your sentence number one. Okay, then you have this relative construct stub, and then you have after that your sentence number two. By and large, this is your formula when you're using relative constructs in Hindi. Okay, so let's take a look at an example. Okay, and as I'm writing it, I want whoever, if you're already familiar with this topic, I want you to write as many examples as possible in the Zoom chat or even on Facebook. So just to brush up your concepts and to be ahead of this, right? So let me use the example that Rupert Snell uses in the book. So he says the train comes. Let's say I were to break it down. The train comes. And the second one is I will go. Very simple example. I will go. First we'll do them independently, then we'll join both of them using the formula. So let's see who can help us out here. Saraji, good to have you. You want to, I think you probably will get it immediately. Let's see. Bundev, you want to give it a try? Good to have you. The train comes to the platform. Let me make it bigger. Train comes to the platform. Okay, so first do the translation of this, then do the translation of this.
Okay. So jab train platform par would you use for the postposition? And then do you use present tense, or what tense would you use for that?
It is present tense, right? Comes.
So आता है.
So train is feminine.
Oh, आती है. Okay.
So train.
Platform पर.
Very good. Train platform पर और पे आती है.
आती है. And
And
then तब और तो मैं जाऊंगा.
okay, मैं जाऊंगा. Now, a lot of new folks, so I don't want you to get scared. Train platform पे आती है. To come on anything, on any place, it's the verb is called आना. Ana is to come, right? So, and in the present tense, you remove the na and you replace it with ta, te, and ti, based on the gender of your subject here. Because train is feminine, you will be using ti. So, train platform pe aati hai. Because we are using this postposition pe because it's coming on the platform, right? So on something, platform pe, chhat pe, which is on the roof, okay? Gar pe, so there, this is where you will use pe. So train platform pe aati hai. The train arrives on. Yeah.
Ashu Ji, why do I use pay and not par?
You can use either of them. They're interchangeable.
Okay.
Yeah, you can use either of them. So train platform par aati hai. You can say that. Or you can say train platform pe aati hai. Okay. Next one is I will go. To go is jana, opposite of ana. But because it's written in future indefinite, you'll remove the na and you will put unga. Because you're talking about the subject main. Okay? Main jaunga. And if you need to know more details, if this part is hard, why we are using unga, I definitely recommend you go to the link and look at the previous chapters or videos. Okay. Now, how do we join them together? As Bundev mentioned, we will use this formula, and this is what he did as well, right? So you use jab, train platform पे आती है, or आती है तब मैं जाऊंगा. This is what Rupert Snell is also using in his book. Okay. Oftentimes when the sentences are written like this, even this one is referred. So right now I simplified it for you. Okay. But oftentimes when they're written it like this, the train is not really arrived. It is, so in that sense, it is still referring to future. And that's how it works in English also, right? So in that case, even though grammatically your sentence is right, Kunde, you will still refer to it as in the future, right? Because the train has not arrived yet. So you'll say, जब train platform पे आएगी, okay, तब मैं जाऊंगा. When the train will come, I will go. Okay. Hope that makes sense. This is a minor thing in grammar, but grammatically what you're saying is, it's absolutely correct. Similarly, the next one that Rupert Snell uses, so I'll try to give as many examples as possible so to get you guys all comfortable. When the bell rings, we stop work. When the bell rings, we stop work. So the sentence is slightly old. I don't know how, probably still relevant in today's context. This is really talking about factory workers. They work in the night shift, but at a certain time when the bell rings, they stop work, right? Yirka, you want to tell us how will you say that? The bell rings and we stop work.
I think bell is related with hour, so it's like ghanta or something like that.
Ghanta, or in this case, you can say ganti.
Okay, and rings is something like bajana, bajna.
Yeah, when somebody is doing that action, then it's bajana. Like in that case, even if you're playing an instrument, it's bajana. Somebody's playing it. But if it is happening it's its own, it's bajna. Right?
Okay, so I would say jab khanti bajungi.
So in this case, because this is
So बजती है.
Very good. So जब
जब घंटी बजती है.
जब घंटी बजती है.
बजती है. तब
तब
हम stop work is खत्म करना. So काम खत्म कर. तब हम काम खत्म करना.
Okay.
So तब हम काम खत्म करते हैं.
Very good. तब हम काम खत्म करते हैं. Okay. So help here because you got it. It's easier for you. What is stop? Help here. What is the word here?
Work is खत्म करना.
Um, okay. Work is actually काम, and to stop is
Okay, work is काम. To stop is खत्म.
yes. खत्म करना. It is used as a verb to stop something. Okay, you're absolutely right. जब घंटी बजती है तब हम काम खत्म करते हैं. काम is work, like मैं काम करता हूँ, आप काम करते हैं, हम काम करते हैं. That's right, your work, right? काम करते हैं. Now it's used with karna, right? काम is by itself, it's just not a verb. But if you want to make it work, it's like to work is काम करना. You are absolutely right there, right? In the same sense, when you're using to stop, right, it's basically काम करना is typically we use as you were trying to imply to, but when you have to stop work is काम खत्म करते हैं. Okay, so stop is here. Let me correct it here. Instead of making it to work is काम करना. Maybe that will be easier. To work is काम करना, as you were trying to say. Right? काम करना. मैं काम करता हूँ. Okay, and because it's you're stopping it, you'll say मैं काम खत्म करता हूँ, or in this case हम काम खत्म करते हैं. Okay, let's keep going. So far we've seen both the sentences are written in present tense. Let's practice some more of these, and then we will change. That you will see you can change the sentences, and you can use them in different tense as well, and that's completely okay. Okay, so let's do some more. So let's see, when you travel, when you travel, when you travel to a new place, I'm just making a sentence. When you travel to a new place, you learn something. You learn something. Okay, let's see who would like to go for it. So, Navneet, you want to give it a try? You have to unmute yourself. Okay, no worries. In case Nandini ji.
No, कब आप यात्रा करते हैं तब आप कुछ सिखाते हैं नो सीखते हैं आप कुछ सीखते हैं.
We'll make it easier. Okay.
Oh.
When we learn something, and instead of travel, think about it's like when we go. When we go to a new place, we learn something new. Maybe this will be easier.
No, sorry. जब हम जाते हैं, जब हम नया जगह जाते हैं, तब हम कुछ सीखते हैं.
Amazing, right? जब हम नई जगह जाते हैं, because it's हम, it's हैं. हम जब हम नई जगह जाते हैं तब हम कुछ we learn something, हम कुछ सीखते हैं, सीखते हैं, हम कुछ सीखते हैं. Okay. You can often see like native speakers, they'll completely eliminate this part because they'll say it so fast. जब हम नई जगह जाते हैं हम कुछ सीखते हैं. So it's implied that they are talking about themselves. Okay, they'll eliminate this part, and it also implied that it is in relation to the previous sentence. So there's no need to really put to or tab there, and that's completely correct. Okay. Questions, anyone? So far, I've been just giving examples. So let me take a pause and see if there are questions, comments. I know there's some chat going on. So it's important that you unmute yourself and see. We can ask and discuss questions. No one? So I'll keep going then. Okay. So similarly, like you can make variations of it. Like when I'm sick, I take medication or I take medicine. Okay. When I am sick, this time I'm gonna just do it fast because I want you guys to practice. So when I get sick, then I take medicine. Who'd like to give this one a try? Let's see. Someone who's not had Leon, you want to go for it?
Sure. जब मैं बीमार हूँ तब दवाई लेता हूँ.
Very good. Okay. See, so appropriate, right? You are a doctor as well, right? So, so in this case, you'll say जब मैं बीमार होता हूँ, right? I mean, so in this case, you're in that condition. So जब मैं बीमार होता हूँ, तब मैं दवाई लेता हूँ. Okay. When I get sick, I take medication. Okay. Awesome. So far, we are writing both the sentences in present indefinite. What if they are in continuous? Can we just practice those as well? Okay. So here we go. So if I were to call this one type 1, now we'll do the type 2 where we will try to practice sentences in present continuous. Okay. So imagine like, I'm one of the teacher where I'm trying to, it happens quite a lot. Like, growing up, when the teacher will be talking or speaking, like no one will be listening. Okay. And it was pretty common, even, in the classroom setting, right? So, and our teachers were like, when I'm speaking, no one is listening. Okay. How do you say that, right? When I'm talking or when I'm speaking. So when I am speaking or talking, no one is listening.
जब मैं बोलता हूँ तो कुछ नहीं समझ.
No one is listening. Okay. Try it again, Vedant. When I'm speaking, now both of them are.
Oh, बोल रहा. Okay. जब मैं बोल रहा हूँ.
When I'm speaking something, we make it even more.
Okay. तो जब मैं कुछ बोल रहा हूँ, तो कुछ नहीं सुन रहा. Actually, it's plural people, so सुन रहे हैं.
Okay. जब मैं कुछ बोल रहा हूँ, no one in the context of not.
कोई नहीं.
Very good. People. कोई नहीं.
तो कोई नहीं सुन रहे हैं.
कोई नहीं. You can say सुन रहा है also. That's correct. कोई नहीं.
Okay. सुन रहा है.
कोई नहीं सुन रहा है. Okay. Let me repeat it again. Say it again. Why don't you say it? जब मैं
कुछ बोल रहा हूँ तो कोई नहीं सुन रहा है.
So you can say तब कोई नहीं सुन रहा है. Okay. You can also say मेरी बात here. मेरी बात it's hard to translate मेरी बात into English one-on-one, but what do you think it is? मेरी बात कोई नहीं सुन रहा है.
Like to my stuff, like baat is like to speak, right? So meri baat, like my thing that I'm saying.
Yes, that's right. मेरी
Like
बात
I say uske baad.
That's right. मेरी बात कोई सुन नहीं रहा है. Okay. Awesome. Right. So this is your continuous, present continuous. Anyone else would like to give an example? So why don't we take a quick small pause here and do an in-class exercise. So far we have done the definition of relative constructs, what they are, jab and tab pairing. We have done basic examples where both the sentences are written in present indefinite and continuous. Okay. So the small in-class exercise for you is to think about a scenario that is applicable to you. Okay. And then write a small relative sentence. Okay. And I'm going to check and see if everything is making sense or not. So quick sentence you can all write and you can post it in the Zoom chat. And folks who are watching live on Facebook, you can write it on the Facebook comment as well. Awesome. Good to see your sentences. Okay, so Bundev is written, जब मैं घर जाता हूँ मेरे माता पिता कुछ खाना बनाते हैं. Awesome. Sangeeta ji has written, जब मैं छोटी थी. Okay. Okay, so जब मैं छोटी थी तब मैं किसी की बात नहीं सुनती थी. Okay. Okay. Rita ji saying, जब बाहर बहुत ठंड होती है तब मैं अंदर रहती हूँ. It doesn't have to be too complex. If you're completely new, just give it a try. Okay. And if you're completely new, just write very basic sentence and tell me your name and where you're from. Okay, so Chanel is saying, जब मैं उठती हूँ तब मैं कॉफी पीती हूँ. Okay, और मुझे कॉफी पीनी होती है. You can say that. गिरका जी, जब मैं तैरता हूँ तब मैं कुछ नहीं के बारे में. Okay, I'm missing it. के बारे में सोच रहा हूँ. Okay, so I think what you're saying, like जब मैं तैरता हूँ मैं किसी के बारे में नहीं सोचता हूँ. I don't think about anyone. जैसा जी, जब मैं पास्ता खा रही हूँ तब मेरी शर्ट साफ नहीं है. Okay. Okay, so in this case, like you have to use it with होना, right? So जब मैं पास्ता खाती हूँ मेरी शर्ट साफ नहीं होती है और रहती है. It doesn't remain. जब मैं मौसम की शिकायत करती हूँ रीता जी पागल हो जाती है. Okay. All of those are very good sentences. Okay, जब आशु जी बोलते हैं तब हम सुनते हैं. Okay, thank you. Okay, awesome. And then Sara ji, जब मैं okay.
It was meant to be yaha, not yahu.
जब मैं, say it again. Why don't you say it in your words?
जब मैं यहाँ पहली बार आई तो मेरे कोई दोस्त नहीं थे.
Okay, very good, right?
Yeah,
When I came here for the first time, I didn't have many friends. Okay, or any friend. Good. And Dhanraj is saying, जब मैं मंदिर जाता हूँ तब मैं पूजा करता हूँ. Okay, awesome. Those are all very good sentences. Okay, I'm really happy. Okay, so let's continue with this journey. And now we will do past indefinite. So I'll try to give one examples of each so that you guys get some practice and you get comfortable, at least in the mindset you get comfortable that it's not just what is given by me or by Rupert Snell in the book or any other textbook. It's, you are free to experiment with it. Okay. This one is past indefinite. Past indefinite. Okay, so in this one I will give when the teacher gave the homework. When the teacher gave the homework, then let me make it positive. Okay, everyone completed it. This one is hard, okay, because we are talking about past indefinite, right? And it's always one of the harder topic. Tom, you want to from LA? You want to give it a try? Break it down.
Yes, please. Yes, please, Professor. So it's going to be tub. Is it shikresh for teacher? Shikresh?
Shikshak, Shikshak is more formal. You can say that, or you can even say teacher, or you can say adhyapak. But I think you're right. You are referring to it as Shikshak. But right now, I would say adhyapak. You can use teacher, adhyapak. Either way is fine.
I would like to use teacher then to keep it simple. Jub teacher. And I'm sorry, was it Hindi? I can't read the word. Hindi?
Homework, sorry. Homework.
Oh, sorry. Jub teacher. Homework. Dek.
Okay.
Deka.
Okay, let's see. To give is
Dana.
very good. And it is past. And dena is also an irregular verb.
Yes. Deya.
Okay, yeah, very good. Awesome.
Thank you. Jub teacher. Homework. Deya.
Okay, so are we missing something?
Gina, nay.
Are we missing something here?
Nay.
Yeah, very good, right? The teacher ne homework diya. Okay, awesome. Keep going. Tub.
And the word we use for everyone, we had a while. Well, that was no one. So I don't know everyone then. Tub, everyone.
To complete is?
I'm sorry, I don't know the verb complete.
Everyone finish. Let's see. What about finish? We learned about it just now. Finish. To finish what?
I'm sorry, you better give it to me. I'm too slow.
No, it's okay. Yeah, very good. You're fine. Okay, khatam karna.
Thank you.
So now try to finish it. The verb is khatam karna. You just have to say it in past.
Then it would be kartam.
Khatam.
Karte.
So past, okay? So past would be just like diya, it could be.
Oh, kartam, is it kartam karna? So
Okay.
kartam.
Kia.
Very good.
Kartam, yeah, gia, right?
Very good. Awesome. Khatam kiya. Okay. So don't take any pressure, okay? Just because I'm asking, there are too many people, you just feel at ease and go with your pace. There is no rush, right? So jab teacher ne homework diya, tab you can say everyone would be. Who would like to answer that? Rita ji?
Sab log. Sabsi. Sabsi. Sabhi.
You can say sab ne.
Sab nay.
You can say sabhi ne.
Need another nay.
Okay, sabhi ne, or you can say sab logo ne. I think that's what somebody was trying to say. Sab logo ne khatam kiya. Okay, and that's correct. Okay, awesome. Anyone else? Any questions, comments? Okay, let's keep going. Now let's do one example of past continuous. Okay, and the sentence is fairly simple here. Okay, I'm gonna write it down. This one is when you were sleeping, someone came to visit you, and I want all of you to write it as well, right? So you just when you were sleeping, then someone came to meet you. Okay, when you were sleeping, or it could be anything when you were out. Okay, I'm just giving you a flavor of it, right? So let's see. Anyone who has not had any chance who would like to give it a try, joining for the first time. Let's see. Who would like to try? We have a lot of new folks today, so don't feel any pressure. Even if you get it wrong, nobody will come after you. So we have good number of folks. You can work as a team. So why don't I select Naima and Thwai, if you can unmute yourself and just give it a try. Both of you can unmute yourself and
Yeah, all right. Well, I guess for sleeping is sona or
very good.
something.
Very
Yeah.
good.
So, but I don't know how to make the past tense. I'm still a beginner.
That's why I'm asking you. Give it a try.
Okay.
What is you?
So, up.
Very good.
So, job up. Um, I don't know how sona is going to be in the past.
Okay, so it's continuous. You know the rule of continuous?
Raha, I know for the present is raha or rahi if it is feminine.
That's the same thing. Raha, rahi, and rahi. It's exactly the same thing in past also. Now
Okay.
Jawab.
So rahi jab ab so raha hai. So
rahe, and because it's past, you will say
okay, I don't know.
So for past, it's tha, the, or thi.
Okay, yeah. All right. So it's gonna be jab ab so rahe the.
Very good. जब आप सो रहे थे
तो और तब someone kuch no.
Okay, that's something for people.
Okay.
Koi.
Ana.
Okay, to meet is
Milkar.
milna. Right?
Milna. Okay.
Milna.
Okay. So this one is maybe a bit hard. Okay. So let me give you some hint here. Someone, koi, with you or to you, you will say aapse.
Milna. No.
Milne.
Milne.
Conjugation would be because it's past.
Continuous still or just okay. Milne te or ta.
So we have not used the verb so far to come in the past tense.
It's
milne.
Ana.
So ana is to come, but because it's used in the past tense, it would be milne.
Aya.
Very good.
Okay.
So you got it, right? जब आप सो रहे थे तब कोई आपसे मिलने आया.
Okay.
Awesome, good try. Hey? So
Thank
this
you.
helps, right? Because even people, who may be familiar with it, sometimes they also learn from this exercise, right? So that's why I always want, to keep trying. Right? So this was past continuous. We can do now future indefinite as well.
Wait, may I ask a question?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Tom.
Someone suggested in the notes that we might have to use the same tenses in both parts of the sentence. That apparently doesn't seem to be correct.
That's not necessarily the case.
Thank you so much.
Even in English, right? That's not necessarily the case that you have to have both of them, in the same case.
Thank you.
It makes things easier for sure, but there is no hard and fast thing, right?
I was spacing out there though. Why was it Milne instead of Milna?
Why was it कोई आपसे मिलने आया? मिलने के लिए, I think it's
it's just implied like about postposition there.
It's मिलने के लिए what change into मिलने आया.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Anyone else? Questions before we move on?
Could we say kissy instead of koi?
Can we say kisi instead of koi? No, in this case it's koi. Kisi, we will be learning it pretty much in the subsequent classes of the use of kisi. Kisi and then the jo part as well. But in this case, this is not like a oblique case that you have to use kisi here. It's koi. Yeah. Any other question? Don't be shy. Okay, so let's keep going. So now the next one is future indefinite. Future indefinite. So okay, so this one is when I'll go to New York City, I will see the Times Square. Okay, so this one, when I go, so I'm gonna just write it as you write in English, right? When I go to the NYC, I will see Times Square. And it could be anything, right? You don't have to just write this one, Times Square. Who would like to give it a try? Let's see. Sunita ji, you want to give it a try?
जब मैं न्यूयॉर्क सिटी से जानती हूँ.
Okay, so try to say this one, even though it's written in present, try to say it in future. जब मैं New York
जाऊंगी.
जब मैं न्यूयॉर्क सिटी जाऊंगी.
जब टाइम्स स्क्वायर में देखूंगी.
तब
मैं टाइम्स स्क्वायर में देखूंगी.
Awesome. The verb is in jana and dekhna, which both are changed into dekhungi and jaungi because the Sunita. If I'm saying it like जब मैं New York City जाऊंगा, तब मैं Times Square देखूंगा. Okay. So any vacation plan that you are making, right? I mean, you can really put this into formula, right? I mean, any place, new place you are going, you can really, you can use that, right? Whether it is seeing a place, eating, something to your favorite place, all of that, or meeting someone, all of them can be applied here. Okay. Slide D2. Let's see how other languages they use, relative constructs. So this is your opportunity to tell me how it is being used in other languages. Okay. Who would like to give it a try? Leon, you want to tell us how it is used in German? Do you have these constructs as well, when and then?
Yeah. Yes. So, oh, sorry, I was in German mode. Yes, you would also say it the same way, I think. Wenn ich nach New York gehe, dann werde ich den Times Square sehen. So it works exactly the same. Yes.
It works exactly the same way. You have when and then as well. How do you say it again? One more time, louder.
Wenn ich nach New York City gehe, dann werde ich den Times Square sehen.
Oh, I see. Awesome. Liaji, you want to tell us in Spanish and Romania? How does it work in Spanish and Romania? Do you have it as well?
Yes, I think we do have it. But it's the same. It's the same. Cuando voy, veré. Cuando voy a Nueva York, veré Times Square. So it's more or less the same.
Spanish,
That's
right?
Spanish.
Romania?
That's more difficult.
It's been a while. I forgot it now. My own language.
Yes. No. It's the same. It's the same. It's present and future. Yes.
I see.
Yes.
Let's see how it. Let's see. Nandini ji, you want to try?
Jab and thumb is like epo, ipo. So it's the same, similar combination.
Very similar, right? Jab and thumb. What is it?
Epo, jab, epo, e, epo, appo.
APPO.
Appo, then. Actually, the written Tamil will be eppordu, appordu. That's very hard. We don't speak like that. Eppo.
Okay, and what about Kannada? Ted, by now you know Kannada also. So how does it work? Ted, you there? Yeah, he's probably on mute. Yirka, what do you think? Check.
Yeah, we have more ways to say it, but we use gdish.
Spell it.
K D Y epsilon. Sorry, epsilon. Yeah, and Z.
This
with
one.
Yeah, with the hook.
With the hook on top.
On top, yeah.
Like
Yes,
this?
yeah.
And then
Tak. THK. Sorry. TAK.
Tak. Okay. See,
Yeah.
nice. By and large, most of the languages, at least from the quick survey we have done, right? I mean, a good number of languages are using the relative constructs, right? So that's great. So now there are many more variations of it, right? So far we have done just the jab part and tab part, okay? But along with that, there are many flavors to it. And for example, jab, it's whenever. You can say it twice, okay? Jab, you'll see native speakers use it quite a lot, whenever. And we will practice all of them in the next class, like using them in sentences, right? You can just sometimes we say when it rains, like one of the example was when it rains, I do not go out. जब बारिश होती है, then जब मैं बाहर नहीं जाता हूँ और बाहर नहीं जाती हूँ, okay? Like जब बारिश होती है, whenever it rains, okay? Rainbow आता है, okay? The rainbow comes, okay? So there is this, जब construct, okay? There is also jab tak, okay, and there's also jab se. So this is all where you are using a postposition or a keyword along with jab. Okay, so and Lupersonal also covers it in the book, and in the next class we'll try to focus a lot on them. Okay, you can also say jab bhi or jabi bhi. Yes, go ahead, Vedant.
I just had a question about the example before I move on about the when I go, I will see. If it was we, would I say jab main New York City jaunge, tab hum Times Square dekenge or dekhunge?
Tab hum New York City jayenge, is that what you're saying?
Like, yeah, I want to make it we, so would it be jayenge?
That's right. जब हम न्यूयॉर्क सिटी जाएंगे, हम टाइम स्क्वायर देखेंगे.
Dekhenge.
Yeah.
Thanks.
The question is like how will we conjugate it? What was the confusion? Like ending of it?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was dekhunge or dekhinge.
देखेंगे. Enge at the end, right? So in the next class we'll primarily focus on like all the variations of it. Jab, jab tak, jab se, jab bhi. Okay, there's a lot of Hindi songs actually. That is, I know good number of songs start with jab bhi. Okay, I know songs that start with jab. So maybe we can chat more about it in our WhatsApp group. Okay, but what we'll do is like we have 10 minutes left, and I do want you to have this breakout room. So we'll wrap up the class now here, and then as always we'll have a small breakout room. I forgot the page number, but in the book I can tell you now. There's an initial section where they're talking about they're having a Hindi conversation. I want you to work with your group and read the first paragraph in the chapter, and someone can help me locating the page number.
161.
161, right? So on page number 161, what's the title of it? 161. Let me see.
Pratap practices his Hindi with Rishi.
Pratap practices his Hindi with Rishi.
Say it again. Okay. One question. 161. Yirkaji, what's the title?
The title is Pratap practices his Hindi with Rishi.
Okay, Pratap practices
his Hindi with Rishi.
With Rishi, okay. So it's on page number 161. So what we'll do is like we'll divide the class into small breakout room. And if you have to leave for any reason, don't feel compelled. It's completely okay. I know it's 1 hour of lecture can be very long and boring, so it's completely okay. So what we'll do, I'll split you into groups, and each group will have about 4 or 5 people. Some may not know Devanagari, so please help. The objective is not to just do it yourself, but help and motivate others as well. And if you are not on the WhatsApp group, just message me, and I'll add you in the WhatsApp group as well. Okay, so with that, I'll stop.